Jesse Blake Sports Report with Jesse Blake.
Welcome to the Jesse Blake Sports Report. Whether this is your first time here, your last time here, or somewhere in between, I appreciate that you are here today so that we can discuss Evan Bouchard and his case for the Norris Trophy. And I don't have Evan Bouchard as the most deserving of the Norris Trophy. I don't have him at the top of the list in my Norris Trophy candidates, but I have him at number 3. And I don't think he is getting the respect in the conversation as my 1 and 2, which is Cale Makar, Quinn Hughes, then Evan Bouchard. And I think there needs to be more discussion about what a great season Evan Bouchard is having, and that he definitely deserves to be in the conversation as a nominee for the Norris Trophy, because the Edmonton Oilers right now are on a 10-game winning streak. They've won 10 games in a row. It's been a phenomenal little streak for the Edmonton Oilers since firing Jay Woodcroft in that terrible start to the year. Paul Coffey's got them playing great defensive hockey, and I think a lot of the credit should be given to Coffey and a little bit to Chris Knobloch on how this defensive system has shaken out for the Edmonton Oilers, because that is a lot of the reason that Evan Bouchard now deserves to be in the conversation for the Norris Trophy. Evan Bouchard has really been an offensive force. I shouldn't say always, but he's grown into an offensive force the last couple of years. And what's been lacking has been the defensive side of the game. And that has completely turned around this season. No, I shouldn't just say this season, this big chunk of the season where Edmonton has been playing well. Evan Bouchard has stepped into a role where he is an offensive juggernaut and can play really good defense. And his offensive skills are so good that they deserve to be in the Norris Trophy conversation. They are Norris caliber skills. Let's take a look at the numbers here. Right now, Evan Bouchard is 3rd in points per game for a defenseman. Amongst all defensemen in points per game, he is number 3. He trails the two gentlemen that I mentioned before, Cale Makar, Quinn Hughes, Evan Bouchard. Now, if you go to not points per game, just strictly points, Noah Dobson sneaks ahead of Evan Bouchard very slightly, but he's still 4th overall in points. He's 2nd in power play points amongst all defensemen, 13th in power play points amongst all skaters, and via money puck, Evan Bouchard has more takeaways than Quinn Hughes. He has 25. Quinn Hughes has 24. Makar leads the way in 37 takeaways. And if we're being fair with the numbers, I must also bring up that Evan Bouchard has 37 giveaways, and Quinn Hughes only has 28, and Cale Makar has 20. A stat like giveaways shows you the gap between the potentially all-time great, he's getting there, he's almost there, in Cale Makar, and a budding superstar in the National Hockey League in Evan Bouchard, and then a star currently, like it's confirmed he is a star, in Quinn Hughes. And that's the tier that I'm looking at right now. And people aren't looking at Evan Bouchard as he's the next one to graduate to that tier if he can just clean up some of those mistakes. And the cleaning up the mistakes has been happening. Like I mentioned earlier, this portion of the season where Edmonton is absolutely rolling, a lot of it is because of the defensive side of the game. The offense was always going to kind of be there. Now they're getting goaltending and defense. So it's all gravy. And the credit is going to Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, Stuart Skinner for playing great, Zach Hyman for having a great streak. Even if you want to throw like Matthias Ekholm is there and he's the one next to Bouchard. So they're giving a lot of credit to Ekholm for playing great defense and showing Bouchard how to play defense. But Bouchard himself deserves a lot of this credit. And I want to enter now into the ethos, Evan Bouchard into the Norris Trophy conversation.
And that is how it's done.
The Jesse Blake Sports Report with Jesse Blake.
Jesse Blake, the guy that likes to hear his name twice in one sentence. Sure, I know him. No, he doesn't have an ego at all.